सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। So, when Jaimini wrote Dharma Jignasa, that Dharma Jignasa did not include Brahma Jignasa. You see? Therefore, Vedavyasa had to write Brahma Jignasa. If Vedanta also were a part of Dharma Jignasa, if Vedanta also were a part of Karma Kanda, then there was no need to write another book called Brahma Jignasa separately. There was no need to comment upon Vedanta separately if it were not a separate topic. Karmakanda was commented separately. Karmakanda was commented upon separately. Vedanta was commented upon separately. They were analyzed separately. Jaimini analyzed Karmakanda. Vedavyasa analyzed Vedanta. And if both are really one and the same, if Karmakanda and Vedanta were one and the same, then it would have been one commentary. You see, and if it is all one, and then if Jaimini wrote Karma Mimamsa, Dharma Mimamsa, then there was no need for Vedavyasa to write down. And even if he had written, he would have written like this, that now I am writing the remaining portion of Karmakanda, the remaining portion of Karmakanda which was not done by Jaimini. But that also he doesn't say. He only says, now begins Brahma Mimamsa. Now begins the analysis of the self. You see? Whereas Jaimini said, now begins the analysis of the rituals. Then Vedavyasa says, now begins the analysis of the self. That means the analysis of the rituals is different from the analysis of the self. So if there are two different topics, then between the two there is no connection. Rituals are performed for objects, whereas the self is understood for liberation. The self is understood for solving the problem. See, rituals don't solve the problem. They are not meant to solve the problem. They are meant to bring certain objects which you can enjoy, that's all. And enjoying an object does not amount to solving a problem. In fact, The very desire to enjoy the objects is a part of the problem. To think that by enjoying the objects I will be happy, that very thinking is a part of the problem. And therefore, karma kanda does not solve human problem. Like money doesn't solve the human problems. You see, nothing physical can solve the human problem, the jiva's problem. Because his problem is not that he is in need of objects. His fundamental problem is that he looks at himself an object. That is the thing. He looks at himself, the conscious being, as an object. This viewing the conscious being as an object is the problem. So, correction of that view, discerning between the observer and the body, the object, discerning between the observer and the observed, solves the problem. Not that by enjoying the objects solves the problem. See? Now, up to this we have seen. And then, athataha kratvartha purusharthayor jignasa itivat. Even if Vedavyasa had written, he would have written, if it is all a part of Karma Kanda, then even if Vedavyasa had written, he would have written that now I begin the remaining part of the Dharma Jignasa as it is there in Dharma Jignasa itself, that atha now, ataha, therefore, kratvartha. Kratvartha means the accessories to the ritual. Kratu means a ritual. Accessories to the ritual, the various objects involved, the various material objects, the various material objects that are necessary for performing a ritual, they are called the kratvartha. And purushartha, and the results of the ritual. The accessories to the rituals and the results of the rituals are analyzed. Yoho jignasa. So Jaimini said, first to begin with, he says, now begins the analysis of the rituals. And then afterwards he said, now begins the analysis of the accessories to the rituals, means the objects involved, the material objects that are to be used in a ritual, and also the various results of rituals. That is also a part of Dharma Jignasa. Even the remaining part of Dharma Jignasa. If Brahma Jignasa, if Brahman also is something that is related to the ritual, then he would have said the same thing. Vedavyasa would have written, Jaimini wrote something about Karma Kanda, and now I am going to write the last bit of the analysis of the same Karma Kanda, he would have said. But he did not say that I am going to write the remaining part of the analysis of the Karma Kanda. He only said, now I am going to begin. Now I am going to begin Brahma Jignasa. Now I am going to analyze the nature of the truth. See, analyzing the nature of a ritual, analyzing the structure of a ritual, analyzing the accessories to the ritual, and analyzing the results of the ritual is all different from analyzing what is man. What are we is different from what are the rituals. See, what are we? What is this universe? Are we the same as we see ourselves to be? Is this universe the same as it presents itself? Or is it something else? Therefore, Brahma Jignasa has nothing to do with the rituals. Brahma Jignasa is inquiring into what we are. Who is this living being who is aware of the universe? Okay. Brahmatmaikya avagatistu apratignata. During the analysis of the rituals, there was no reference to the analysis of the self. You see, the analysis of the rituals doesn't include the analysis of the nature of the self. Apratignata, it was not really started. It was not referred to. Iti, therefore, because the analysis of the nature of the self was not included, is not included in the analysis of the rituals. Therefore, it was necessary for Vedavyasa to write separately the analysis of the nature of the self. You see, Brahmatmaikya avagatistu apratignata iti tadarthaha. For that purpose, yuktaha, it is tenable, it is right. Shastrarambaha, it is justified to write Brahma Jignasa separately because it was not included in Karmakanda. Not only it was not included, it can't be included. That is the thing, you see. It can't be included because ritual is different from what we are. What we do is different from what we are. The actions that we do, we have to learn them in order to perform them, in order to get the results. Learning what to do, how to do, and then for what to do is a different topic from finding out what we are. This is a very big thing. What we are, what we have been. Not that what we should be. You see, it is not what we should be, but what we are. What are we? Carrying some flesh and bone all over the world. What are we? Therefore, the Mimamsa, the analysis of the truth, is different from the analysis of the rituals. And therefore, don't try to see a connection between the two. There is no connection. There is no direct connection. There is no connection at all. There is no connection. At best we can say, all right, you perform the rituals, you enjoy the pleasures, and finally discovers you can't get what you want through the rituals and through the pleasures. That's it. The payoff of all the money is, supposing you get a lot of money and enjoy the money, then what do you get out of that money? After buying all that you can buy through the money, after enjoying all the pleasures that the money can buy, you discover that money can't give me exactly what I want. Even this is a very big thing. Money can perhaps help me discover. Money itself doesn't help me. My analysis, again there also. I analyze exactly what money can give, and then I grow out of money. Seeing money, you grow out of money. Seeing pleasure, you grow out of it. Like eating sweet, you grow out of sweet. Grow out of sweet. Here also seeing all the pleasures, you grow out of pleasures. Growing out of pleasure is not in the form of vexation. Don't think like that. It's not easy. Growing out is different from getting vexed. Because a state of getting vexed doesn't last. You see? After taking some sweets, you get vexed, and tomorrow again you look for. That is why the dabba goes back into the fridge. Dabba goes back into the fridge. Why? Aaj nahi, kal khayenge. Why? Because man knows that now I am vexed, but I would like to have it tomorrow. This is not getting vexed with money or getting vexed with the sense pleasures is not vairagyam. That's not vairagya. But understanding that even if I were to continue to have for ages these pleasures, what I want, I can't get. What I want is inner peace. What I want is fullness. It is not mere little relative peace. One wants fullness. Fullness of the being means I want to be in a state in which there is no lack or want or struggle or anything. Like in deep sleep, one has no feeling of limitation, nor there is a struggle to get out of it. Neither there is a want, nor there is a struggle to fulfill it. Neither there is a desire, nor a struggle to fulfill it. There is no struggle to fulfill a desire because there is no desire. There is no desire because there is no reason for the desire. The reason for the desire is I must feel incomplete. And incompleteness is something that is felt along with the equation with the form which is incomplete. The form is incomplete, and then if I say I am the form, then I feel I am incomplete. Now as an incomplete person, then I would like to become complete. That is called a desire. And in order to become complete, I entertain a desire. And desire is always for the objects. There is a belief that if I get more objects, then I will become complete. Thus the struggle is on. In the deep sleep state, there is no equation with the form. That equation with the form resolves. Therefore, the sense of incompleteness resolves. Therefore, there is no reason for desire. One stands the truth. One stands the full being. But it is not recognized as such. The same fullness is the nature of the person even in the waking. That is the Swarupa, unrecognized, ununderstood. And right in that full being is born the sense of embodiment, incompleteness, desire, struggle, etc. as adhyasa. And therefore, Brahmatmaikyavagatistu apratikñata iti. Tadartha, for the purpose of that jnanam, yuktaha shastrarambha, is tenable to start. It is natural for Vedavyasa to analyze Brahma, the self, the nature of the self, separately. Karmakanda at best can give you, if you go through the pleasures with an analytical mind, you can grow out of it. Understand? Being vexed is different from growing vairagyam. That is why jihasa vairagyam is different from jignasa vairagyam. Jihasa vairagyam means getting vexed. घर में ऐसा परेशान करते हैं. Then you feel like going to Rishikesh. That is called परेशान born vairagya. See, परेशान. घर में लोग परेशान करते हैं, चलो कुछ दिन के लिए ऋषिकेश जाएं. This is called jihasa. Jihasa means त्यक्तुम इच्छा, छोड़ने की इच्छा होती है because of certain problem. Whereas jnasa vairagyam means the inner enlightenment. there is an inner enlightenment that even if I were to get the whole world on my palm, I will continue to be the same individual. My problem is something else. Fullness that I am looking for cannot be the result of any object. That inner enlightenment born vairagyam is called real vairagyam. Inner enlightenment born. Even if I get as much money as Reliance, even if I were to get as much money as Reliance, Haji, I am not going to be different. Why? Because those who are already having Reliance, they are no better anyway. You see? If Mr. Ambani, who has so much of money, he is also not full, then if I were to get his money, I would also be not full. Indra also went for Vedanta. Indra, with all the heaven at his disposal, also went for Vedanta, which means he also did not feel full. So that is good enough for me to understand that even if I were to get the heaven like Indra, I would be again the same. If Indra can't be happy with heaven, how can I be happy with heaven? Thus, the problem is something else. The problem is not that we are in need of, we are unhappy not for want of pleasures. Man feels incomplete not for want of wealth. Man feels incomplete not for want of money, want of pleasures, want of wealth, want of name, want of fame. Man feels incomplete due to a wrong view about himself. And that view is called adhyasa, which needs to be corrected, for which is the adhyayanam, the study and reflection. Thus, that inner enlightenment born vairagyam is called growing out of, or is what is called vairagyam. Let us use the same word, vairagyam. But sometimes we get vexed with things and we feel like leaving them. That's not real vairagyam, because in fact the vairagyam, which is in the form of getting vexed with things, itself though is not the real vairagyam. Maybe, because a person in Delhi, is a businessman, he gets vexed with things. Therefore, he goes to Rishikesh and there he meets somebody, and there he may go further, he may discover the real vairagyam. That's a different matter. But that getting vexed, that itself cannot be called vairagyam. Maybe a step towards real. Because when you leave everything and go to a place, you may stumble upon somebody who can tell you exactly what is it. But more often it happens like this. The vairagyam that is in the form of getting vexed, in fact you come back again. Jo chhod diya, wo वापस आ जाए. That's called, another term. हमारा अपना एक परिभाषा है भी, हमारा मॉडर्न परिभाषा. This modern परिभाषा है, this is called Devdas vairagyam. This is called Devdas vairagyam. Devdas. We'll come back. Okay, this is over. Tat prarambha dhado brahma jignasa iti. Tasmat. We are going to conclude it. Therefore, aham brahmasmi tyetat avasana eva sarve vidayaha sarvani cha itarani pramanani. Therefore, it is clear that the Vedanta culminates, fulfills in showing showing the nature of the self. Understanding Vedanta is final. Understanding Vedanta is understanding the topic of Vedanta. Understanding the topic of Vedanta is understanding oneself. Because the topic of what I am studying is the very person who is studying. It is a big problem. You see? Otherwise, generally we always look upon the topic as something different from us. But here, the topic of Vedanta is the very Shrota. And it is not that really after studying Vedanta, then we have to do some karma, and then there is no step following the understanding about oneself. There is no step. And therefore, in understanding the self, the Vedanta resolves. Vedanta fulfills itself in conveying the truth. And in that very conveying of the truth of one's being, all the faculties, the senses and the sense perception based inference, which we look upon as valid, also resolves. We look upon the sense organs as valid means of knowledge for everything. We look upon the objects as realities, and we look upon the sense organs as the valid means of knowledge. And we look upon the logic also that is based upon sense perception as a valid means of knowledge. And the sense organs and the sense objects, which we look upon as real and valid, also understood as false, non-separate from the truth. Objects as realities are false. Objects as looked upon as objects are false. The senses as related to the objects are false. Like the dream senses and the dream objects are looked upon valid in the dream, but from the dreamer's point of view, the dreamer's actuality point of view, the conscious being's point of view, both are false. And therefore, in the waking up, when a person wakes up from the dream, let us take that example, the dream senses and the dream objects also resolve in the person who wakes up, the conscious. Thus, the waking senses and the waking objects also culminate, also are traced to their truth, and their reality and validity also gets falsified. That is why here he says, Tasmad aham brahmasmi tyetad avasana eva sarve vidayaha. Sarve vidayaha means all the do's and don'ts. Sarvani cha itarani pramanani, and all other means of knowledge which are looked upon as valid means of knowledge, like the senses of etc. So the sense organs which we look upon as valid get falsified. The do's and don'ts which we look upon as valid get falsified. The rituals that we look upon as valid also get falsified. You know, this validity it is not an arrived at validity. I will tell you. The very sense of reality creates in us a sense of validity. What else? Dream objects are valid. Their validity is not different from the sense of their being valid is not different from the sense of reality. The sense of reality. What looks real looks valid to me. What is that? Dream food looks valid for dream hunger because the dream hunger looks real and dream food also looks real. Therefore, the sense of reality and the sense of validity are not two things. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी, बहुत बड़ी बात है. Therefore, correcting the sense of reality amounts to correcting the sense of validity. Sense of validity is corrected with the correction of the sense of reality. The sense of reality is corrected with the sense, with the correction of the sense of division between the subject and the rest. The subject, the all-knowing subject, and what one sees, there is what one sees is non-separate from the seer, the unlimited. Because the seer cannot have any limitation. You can't think of limitation. There is no anubhava of there is no experience of the limitation of the seer. The seer stands as the seer of everything. That is the anubhava of unlimitedness. Because whatever I see, it is within the realm of the seer. There is no division. If there is a division between here ends the seer and here begins the seen, supposing there is a point at which the seer stops, meaning at which the existence of the seer stops, and then begins the seen. There is a point of division, supposing. Then what exists outside the realm of the seer can never be seen, can never be known. Never be known. And therefore, what we are experiencing is the unlimitedness of the seer. Seer cannot be limited. Seer is always unlimited. The one who is aware of everything is unlimited. Therefore, that I am limited is not anubhava. That the I, the seer, is limited. That I am limited. That I am limited is not the obtaining anubhava. The obtaining anubhava is I am being. The seer means I am being unlimited. I am being the seer. That means to be the seer is to be unlimited. That is the anubhava. And therefore the sense of limitation is not anubhava. It is a sense. It is a conclusion about the seer. Because when the seer equates himself with the body, the seen, you understand that wrong judgment. I am the seen, I am the seen is one error. And brought about by that error is the sense that I am limited. Thus the sense of limitation, there is no anubhava. There is no anubhava of limitation. There is no anubhava of limitation. And therefore, what is limitation? Is a adhyasa. It is thinking, not being. I am being the seer, and therefore I am being unlimited. And that I am limited is what? Thinking. Like, the 10th man is being. The 10th man is being the 10th man. The 10th man is being the 10th man. And thinking, the 10th man is away. We have examples like this. He is being the 10th man and thinking the 10th man is away. It is being the rope and being thought of snake. I am being the seer, meaning being unlimited, and thinking that I am limited. Thus, the sense of validity is corrected with the correction of the sense of reality. And the sense of reality is corrected with the correction of the sense of division. Nothing is outside or other than the observer. Clear? Thus, not only Vedanta resolves in conveying the truth, all other pramanas also culminate. Why? Because presupposing the self-error alone, is the sense of division, is the sense of embodiment, and are there senses? The pratyaksha pramana presupposes adhyasa, and prameya presupposes adhyasa, senses and objects presuppose the self-error. And to correct that error again, there is Vedanta. That means even Vedanta pramanam presupposes the self-error. Pratyaksha pramana, the senses presuppose self-error. They don't correct the self-error. Vedanta pramana presupposes self-error, but it can correct the self-error. Thus, Vedanta, that is why here Bhashyakara says, now look at the wording. The wording, you see, of Bhashyakara. Tasma, therefore, aham brahmasmiti, that the I is unlimited. Ityetat, this avasana, culminating in this. Eva, in this culminate sarve, all. Vidhaya, do's and don'ts. Sarvani cha itarani pramanani, and all other valid means of knowledge. Meaning all the faculties which are looked upon as valid means. Faculties only these, the sense organs and the sense organs based inference, on which stands the entire science. The entire science, the entire living, Jiva lives, survives on the basis of the senses and the sense organs, sense perception based inference. But the knowledge that he is not Jiva, the knowledge that he is not Jiva, biological Jiva, but he is the unlimited non-dual being, that is conveyed not by the senses, that is conveyed by the Shabda Pramana. There is no other faculty, there is no inbuilt faculty, eyes you open and you see the form, ears you open and you hear the sound, like these five senses I open and I see the five sense object. In that manner, my being unlimited is not something, which I can see by opening some faculty. That is why it is there anubhava, but even though there is anubhava, one has the experience of being the observer and the experience pertaining to being the seer, means it is experience pertaining to being unlimited. Understand? To be the seer means to be unlimited. I don't have to really establish the seer as unlimited, because seer can't be the seer without being unlimited. One doesn't have to prove the seer to be unlimited. You don't prove the seer as unlimited, you disprove the sense that I am limited. The seer's sense that I am limited, this being a sense, a wrong sense is disproved, a fact is not proved. The self-evident fact of being the seer, if I don't have to prove that I am the seer, then I don't have to prove that the seer is unlimited. Then what does Vedanta do? Vedanta doesn't prove that we are the seer. It doesn't prove that we are unlimited. It disproves the conclusion that I am limited. In that sense, it is a corrective means of knowledge. It is a corrective means of knowledge. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, Aham brahmasmi chetudavasana eva sarve vidayaha sarvani chetarani brahman. Therefore, the good and bad, which are all looked upon as valid, also culminate in disproving our being limited. In disproving the sense of limitation, everything. Now, Bhagavan, last sentence he says, Nahi aheya anupadeya advaita atma avagatav. In understanding the Advitiya Atma, which is not something that can be renounced, which is not something that needs to be acquired. It is aheya means I can't cease to be that. I can't cease to be the seer. That means what? I can't renounce my identity. My intrinsic identity, one's intrinsic identity of being the seer can't be renounced. You can't cease to be what you are. That's called aheya. Anupadeya. And I don't have to become the seer. Because all our efforts are only to lose something or to gain something. I can't cease to be the seer. I can't cease to be unlimited. Nor do I require to become the seer and unlimited. I can't cease to be the truth. I don't have to become the truth. And if these efforts are gone, karma is gone. Then the Vedanta is in the form of only recognizing what one is rather than becoming something else or ceasing to be something. This is a very big thing. There is only one thing which is aheyam and anupadeyam in this world. When we look at the objects, every object comes under the realm of, it is something that I can gain or I can lose. Every object is something that is available to acquire and lose. It is available for being acquired and lost, not by my will, that is its nature. It is by nature available to be acquired and lost. Objects are by nature available to be acquired and lost. That is why we acquire them and we lose them. That is its nature. That is why, in fact, what you gained in this life must have been gained, by so many people in the past lives. यहाँ आप घर बना है, पता नहीं कितने लोग आके घर बना के चले गए. You look at life very deeply, Hare Rama, very profound. इस हस्तिनापुर में, इस दिल्ली में पता नहीं कितने राजा लोग आके चले गए. Everybody thought really I will be here, राज्य करेंगे. क्या राज्य करेंगे? And therefore, in this, when it comes to the creation, every object is Heyam and Upadeyam. Is available for acquiring and losing. If there is something which need not be acquired and which cannot be lost, that is the reality. The definition of the truth is that which cannot be lost and which need not be gained. Don't translate it as which can't be gained. I say that which cannot be lost, it doesn't require to be gained. It is nitya praptam, can't be lost. So Bhagavan says, Aheya anupadeya advitiya atma avagatav. Seventh case. In understanding one's being as something that cannot be lost and need not be gained, and the nature of being the seer is aheyam and anupadeyam. The nature of being unlimited is aheyam and anupadeyam. The nature of being non-dual is aheyam and anupadeyam. And in recognizing that nature, nirvishayani apramatrikani cha pramanani bhavitumarhanti. The faculties, the senses, and the sense perception based inference, etc., cannot exist as valid unrelated to the pramata. The senses can't be there unrelated to the individual, unrelated to the objects. There can't be senses unrelated to the individual. Because the seer as the seer doesn't have senses. The seer as the seer is a seer independent of the senses. And the objects are also non-separate from the seer. So the senses cannot be there enjoyed by the seer as a seer. Senses are enjoyed by the seer in equation with the form. That becomes pramata. Dream senses are enjoyed by the dreamer. Dream senses don't stand related to, connected to the conscious being. Dreamerness includes the sense organ, the sense object. And therefore, no pramata, like a person when he goes to sleep, he is not a pramata. Therefore, there are no senses also, because there is no pramata unrelated. When there is no pramata, then there are no the pramanas. So these pramanas without the prameya. In sleep there is no prameya. In deep sleep there is no prameya. In deep sleep one is not a pramata, means that he seer with a sense of embodiment and individuality and limitation, confinement to the body and the senses. So in deep sleep, one is not a pramata. So there is no pramatritvam in the deep sleep. There are no prameyas in deep sleep. Therefore, there are no pramanas also. There are no pramanas. Therefore, when all the pramatra, pramana, prameya bhava gets falsified in recognizing the unlimitedness of the seer, my dear Mimamsaka, how can you come up with a statement that after recognizing the non-duality of the being, you have to do karma and then substantiate Brahmajnanam? You understand, you have to supplement the Brahmajnanam with the upasana to come to moksha. Because they look upon the upasana as supplementary to Brahma Jnana. And the one who does upasana is a pramata, but in Brahma Jnanam pramatritvam gets falsified. It's like using the upasana to supplement the deep sleep. How can you supplement the fullness of the deep sleep? Upasana doesn't have to supplement sleep to feel full, to feel free. Sleep by itself, it is a resolution by itself, liberates me from all sense of division, limitation, confinement, etc. It is a resolution. It is a laya. And all that resolves unto the being. So in Anubhava, one is experiencing the point of resolution. And one is also experiencing the point of creation. Everything resolves unto oneself. If everything resolves unto oneself, then oneself is also the source of the whole appearance. Vedanta only points out what one is constantly experiencing, the unlimited, which is the point of creation as well as resolution. And therefore, Upasana does not strengthen Brahma Jnanam. In fact, there is no relationship between Upasana and Jnana. Okay, Pramanani Bhavatamarihanti iti. Last couple of lines, we will complete it today. Apicha apuhu. Now, Bhashyakara has completed Bhashya and he just gives a quotation here. Says, Gauna mithyatmanoho asatve putra dehadi badhana. Take some time. We'll try to do as much as we can. There's no hurry. This is called I am the body is called literal. It's called erroneous knowledge. It's called erroneous knowledge. This is called mithya jnanam. If I view myself as nothing but the form, this is called mithya jnanam about myself. It's an erroneous view about myself. But when I say my son is myself, seeing the difference between him and me, this is called gauna. This is called gauna buddhi. I know my son is different, but I am different, but still he is myself. Seeing the division, I say it is myself. It's not merely mine. It's very difficult because I can't sell him off. I have a house, it is mine, but I can sell it. That is called ownership. A sense of ownership is different from gaunatma buddhi. My son, when it comes to my son, This is something I can't sell it. Because it's myself. It's my own reflection. It's an extension of me, vagara vagara. This is called Gauna Atma Buddhi. I am the body is called Mithyatma Jnana. Mithya. Because I don't see the difference between me and the form. I don't see the difference between me and the form. I say I am the form. This is called Mithyatma. This is erroneous. But I see the difference between me and my son and still say it's a kind of an attachment. And within the attachments, this is an attachment with a difference. This is an attachment, but attachment with a difference. I am attached to my house also, but I don't mind selling it off. That is also attachment. But the attachment to the house is different from the attachment to the son, the daughter, mother, father, and all of them there is a certain attachment, the difference. You can't sell them. You can't. So, seeing the difference between me and my son, if I say this is me, this is called Gauna Atma Buddhi. Gauna Atma Buddhi presupposes Mithyatma Buddhi. All attachments presuppose Mithyatma Buddhi. Even the attachment to one's own children presupposes Mithyatma Buddhi. It's a notion. It is not mere attachment. It's me. Now what Bhashyakara is saying is Gauna Mithyatmanaha Asatve. This thinking that I am the body and the thinking that this my son is me, etc., these attachments, etc., asatve, when they are discovered as false, asatve. Putra dehadi badhanad, by way of falsifying my attitude to the son and my thinking about the body, when it is falsified. When putra is falsified, deha is falsified, meaning in falsification of dehoham, mithya buddhi is falsified. Correct. I am my putra. Putre pushte aham pushtaha, putre nashte aham nashtaha. Then the gauna buddhi also is falsified. Sat Brahmatma Amityevam Bodhe, in recognizing that I am the unlimited and non-dual seer. Then this happens in recognizing the truth of myself and in correcting my anadi adhyasa about myself. Karyam katham bhavet. Then how can the same person or how can the same unlimited being undertake upasana to supplement with the knowledge? Then where is the karyam to be done something? Katham karyam bhavet. Are you able to follow? Katham karyam bhavet. Like even when everything resolves, even though it is laya in Sushupti, what kartavyam do you have? There is no need for kartavyam, there is no possibility of the kartavyam, because the non-dual being cannot do any duty, nor there is any need. It is very reference to kartavyam for the advitiyam that is the height of mediocre thinking. All is mimamsaka. Katham karyam bhavet. There is no, what is laya? Sushupti is laya, resolution of everything unto oneself. And waking and the swapna is nothing but all that resolves again. Reappears, that's called srishti. Srishti and laya. And what is badha? Seeing exactly that point of creation and the point of resolution. And all that is born in the self is indeed non-separate from the self, and all that resolves into the self is non-separate from the self. In this manner, that self is unlimited. Recognizing the point of, recognizing the source of everything and the resolving point of everything is called the Bhatha, that is the knowledge. I am experiencing Srishti. I am experiencing Laya. We are experiencing the Laya of everything unto the seer. And we are also experiencing the creation of everything in the seer. It is experienced, but not recognized. Vedanta only points out the Anubhava Siddha, points out the reality, the unlimited, which is choicelessly within. Choicelessly one is being. Choicelessly one is experiencing to be. See? That way it becomes a pramana. Anveshtavya Atma Vijnanat Prak. Before the desire, before understanding the actuality about oneself. Anveshtavya Atma Vijnanat Prak. Before recognizing the nature of the self which one is searching, before one finds oneself, which one is always searching, meaning before recognizing the nature of oneself, Anveshtavya Atma Vijnanat Prak. Pramatritvam Atmanaha. One stands with the sense of limitation and individuality, with the sense of sense perceiver. One looks at oneself as a seer, conditional to senses. I am a seer when there are senses. When there are no senses, I am not a seer. This thinking makes one pramata. This thinking that I am a seer conditional to the presence of the senses. I am aware conditional to the presence of the senses. I am aware conditional to the presence of thought. I am aware conditional to the presence of memory. If I look at my being the seer and my being aware conditional to the senses and thought and memory, then I am called then I become what? Pramata. Though one is experiencing oneself as the seer, unconditional to the senses and the thought and the memory, because experiencing the three states, being the seer of the three states, implies being the seer unconditional to the senses and the thought. Until that, when the nature of the seer is, before one understands the nature of the seer as something that is unconditional to, the seer is a seer unconditional to the senses and the thought. Before one understands it, he stands as a pramata. That is what Bhagavan says, Anveshtavya Atma Vijnanat Prak Pramatritvam. And it is that Pramatritvam in a way that creates the fear of death. I am aware only conditional to the senses, conditional to the thought, conditional to the memory, conditional to the object. And when there is no object, when there are no senses, when there is no memory, then I am not a seer, therefore then I am not there at all. This is what is called the fear of death. Fear of death is linked to the conditionality of awareness. The sense of conditionality of awareness. But what is the anubhava? We are not experiencing awareness as conditional to the senses. We are experiencing awareness as unconditional. Experiencing even the negation of the mind is what? Experiencing the negation of the mind is experiencing the awareness, meaning experiencing one's being as the experiencer, as unconditional to the senses. Thus, pramatritvam is there before understanding the Swarupa. And before that understanding, Bhagavan says, Anvishtaha syat. If the sought after self is understood, if the sought is found, Anvishtaha syat, Pramata eva, this very Pramata, this very being looked upon as conditional. Pramata eva, Atma doshadi varjitaha, is recognized as free from all sins. Pramata, the seer as conditional to the senses, is recognized as unconditional to the senses. The seer is a seer not because of the senses or thought. The seer is a seer by nature. And his nature of being the seer has no negation. Nahi drashtuhu drishtehe viparilopo vidyate avinashitvat. The seeing nature of the seer has no negation. Why? Avinashitvat. It is eternal. And therefore, Pramatritvam, this self that is sought to be known when it is known, the very being that is looked upon as the Pramata is recognized as, is Apramata, is unconditionally the seer. Until then, until the knowledge, the senses are looked upon as real and valid. So the senses and other means of knowledge, like logic, etc., are looked upon, are treated as valid means of knowledge before Vedanta is understood. And therefore here it says, Dehatma Pratyaya. This last line we will see in the next class. No hurry. I'll sum it up, all these lines. Thus, Pramata himself is recognized as the Paramatma, as Brahmavastu. That Pramatritvam, that conditionality is falsified. Not the conditioned being is falsified. The conditionality, the conditioned, the conclusion that it is conditioned is corrected. That me, the seer, is conditioned by the senses is corrected. The seer is not correct. The seer is the truth. Because the seer is being experienced as unconditioned and concluded as conditioned. That is called Adhyasa. Truth is within Anubhava. And without recognizing the truth as it is, I mistake it for what it is not. Atasmin tat buddhihi. The definition of Adhyasa fits it. What is within my Anubhava, but I don't recognize it, and I take it for what it is not. And correction of it, the entire Vedanta educates man about his Swarupa, not that it needs to be supplemented with any karma or upasana or sadhana. We'll conclude it in the next class. Om. And then we'll continue that Ikshati next sutra, etc. If we all can come. मैं तो आऊँगा, आप लोग आएंगे तो अच्छी बात, नहीं आएंगे तो भगवान की मर्जी. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति.